Tonight, those witnesses who heard President Trump and the president of Ukraine testifying for the first time before the American people. The decorated Iraq war veteran testifying in full uniform. The president taking aim, criticizing him for wearing that uniform. And before he started, that combat veteran's message to his own father. Major news tonight in the death of accused sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein. 2 prison guards arrested. What the surveillance video reveals. The freshman who died, his parents say, during hazing. 9 people tonight now facing charges connected to his death. Authorities say he died after ingesting nitrous oxide. News tonight after that deadly engine blowout that nearly sucked a woman out of a passenger jet. What authorities are now saying. And the other passenger plane, the new images just today. Passengers evacuating, smoke filling the cabin. The new storm threat tonight, heavy snow, rain, and flash flood alerts across several states and moving across the country. Rob Marciano times it out. The deadly fall on board a cruise ship, a passenger dropping 4 stories. And the new and alarming headline on the flu this evening, what doctors say they're seeing already.
This is ABC World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening, and it's great to have you with us here on a very busy Tuesday night. And we begin with the televised hearings. For the first time today, millions of Americans heard from witnesses who listened in on that call between President Trump and the president of Ukraine. The witnesses who were alarmed by what they heard, taking the oath, ready to talk about the call that the president has said was perfect. Lieutenant Colonel Alexander Vindman, who works in the White House, testifying the president's call asking for investigations into 2016 and into the Bidens was improper, saying it amounted to a demand. The combat veteran who earned a Purple Heart testifying in uniform, the president criticizing him for doing so. Then an advisor to the vice president, Jennifer Williams, there testifying she found the call unusual and inappropriate. And late today, former Ukraine Special Envoy Kurt Volker, who had testified before he saw nothing that indicated a quid pro quo. Today, he added, had he known what this was all about, investigating the 2016 election and Burisma, what he called conspiracy theories, that he would have objected. ABC's Mary Bruce leads us off tonight from the Hill.
For the first time today, the American people hearing from first-hand witnesses who were listening to that infamous call at the center of this impeachment inquiry.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Lieutenant Colonel Alexander Vindman, a decorated war veteran and top Ukraine expert on the National Security Council. He came to the U.S. when he was just 3 years old, his family fleeing from the Soviet Union. He began his testimony with a message to his father.
Dad, I'm sitting here today in the U.S. Capitol is proof that you made the right decision 40 years ago to leave the Soviet Union and come here to the United States of America in search of a better life for our family. Do not worry. I will be fine for telling the truth.
Vindman was listening in on the July phone call where President Trump asked Ukrainian President Zelensky to, quote, do us a favor and asked him to investigate the Bidens. Vindman called that request, quote, improper and a partisan play.
Frankly, I couldn't believe what I was hearing. It was probably an element of shock that maybe in certain regards my worst fear of how our Ukraine policy could play out was playing out. And how this was likely to have significant implications for U.S. national security.
And you went immediately and you reported it, didn't you?
I did.
Why?
Because that was my duty.
Jennifer Williams, the Ukraine advisor to Vice President Pence, was on that call too. She described what she heard as unusual and inappropriate.
The references to specific individuals and investigations, such as former Vice President Biden and his son, struck me as political in nature.
But Republicans pushed back on that assessment.
But raising an issue, even one that you thought was unusual, is different than making a demand. Would you agree?
Yes.
It didn't sound like, from your testimony, that you heard what took place on that call as a demand for investigations. Is that fair?
I don't believe I'm in a position to characterize it further than the president did in terms of asking for a favor.
Vindman described a July meeting where Gordon Sondland, Trump's mega donor turned U.S. ambassador to the EU, gave Ukrainian officials an ultimatum.
Ambassador Sondland said that in order to get a White House meeting, the Ukrainians would have to provide a deliverable, which is investigations, specific investigations.
Vindman says he confronted Sondland.
I stated that it was inappropriate and had nothing to do with national security policy.
Throughout the testimony, Republicans challenged Vindman's loyalty, accusing him of trying to protect the whistleblower.
Mr. Vindman,
You testified in your deposition that you did not know the whistleblower.
Ranking member, it's Lieutenant Colonel Vindman, please.
Lieutenant Colonel Vindman, you testified in the deposition that you did not know who the whistleblower was or is.
I do not know who the whistleblower is.
At the White House, the president attacked Vindman in real time, seeming to undermine his military service.
I don't know him. I don't know, as he says, Lieutenant Colonel, I understand somebody had the misfortune of calling him Mr., and he corrected them. I never saw the man. I understand now he wears his uniform when he goes in. No, I don't know Vindman at all.
Republicans joining in, questioning why the active duty soldier was wearing his uniform.
Lieutenant Colonel Vindman, I see you're wearing your dress uniform. Knowing that's not the uniform of the day, you normally wear a suit to the White House.
Republicans also seized on a new storyline, noting that on 3 occasions, Ukrainian officials asked Vindman to be their defense minister. Vindman says he laughed it off.
I'm an American. I came here when I was a toddler, and I immediately dismissed these offers, did not entertain them.
And Democrats returned to Vindman's opening statement when he told his father not to worry about his testimony against the president.
And why do you have confidence that you can do that and tell your dad not to worry?
Congressman, because this is America. This is the country I've served and defended, that all of my brothers have served, and here, right matters.
Thank you, sir. Yield back.
Later, 2 more witnesses that Republicans had requested, including former special envoy to Ukraine, Kurt Volker. He worked with Sondland to get Ukraine to investigate Burisma, the energy company where Joe Biden's son Hunter sat on the board. But Volker said at the time he didn't see the Biden connection.
In hindsight, I now understand that others saw the idea of investigating possible corruption involving the Ukrainian company Burisma as equivalent to investigating former Vice President Biden. I saw them as very different.
Volker testified, bottom line, the investigations President Trump wanted were not in the national interest of the United States.
I don't think that raising 2016 elections or Vice President Biden or these things I consider to be conspiracy theories that have been circulated by the Ukrainians, particularly the former prosecutor general, are sort of they're not things that we should be pursuing as part of our national security strategy with Ukraine.
Mary Bruce with us live on the Capitol Hill. A very long day, Mary. You were on the air with us all day. And, of course, another big day tomorrow. Ambassador Gordon Sondland set to testify, perhaps one of the most important witnesses in this impeachment inquiry. And he's the one who actually told Ukraine that they would not receive the nearly $400 million in U.S. military aid unless they launched those investigations that the president wanted.
David, there is no question Gordon Sondland is the most anticipated witness of this inquiry. When it comes to Ukraine, he has had the most direct conversations with the president. And like Kurt Volker today, Sondland has claimed that he didn't know that these investigations that the president was pushing for were related to the Bidens. Now, he has revised his testimony once before, and tonight there is some concern from Republicans that he could change it again. David.
All right, we'll see you tomorrow. Mary Bruce, thank you. I want to bring in ABC's chief White House correspondent, Jonathan Karl, because, John, President Trump said he was watching from the White House and that he's happy with what he's seeing. Take a look.
And yet I just got to watch, and the Republicans are absolutely killing it. They are doing so well because it's a scam. It's a big scam.
John, you were on the air with us today when the official White House account actually tweeted out criticism of Lieutenant Colonel Vindman, the decorated Iraq War veteran testifying in uniform there. The White House account actually used to take aim at one of the witnesses?
That is for sure, David. They went after Vindman in 2 ways. First, quoting Tim Morrison, they questioned his judgment. And then on Twitter, they questioned Vindman's loyalty to the United States, raising the fact that he'd been offered the job of defense minister for Ukraine. It was an offer that he rejected and immediately reported to his supervisors. These were extraordinary attacks for several reasons, especially because for more than a year, Vindman has come to work every day here at the White House, working in the National Security Council. He presumably will be back here on the job again tomorrow. David Vindman said that he did not expect any repercussions for telling the truth, but he did say that if he had criticized the president in this way or questioned the president in this way in Russia, quote, it would surely have cost me my life.
All right, John Karl, our thanks to you and to Mary and to the entire team today, and we hope you'll stay with ABC News. We'll be back on the air tomorrow morning and Thursday beginning at 9 a.m. Eastern to continue our coverage of these televised hearings. In the meantime, we move on to the other news this evening. 2 guards on duty at the jail where accused sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein died have now been arrested on federal charges. You'll remember in August, Epstein was found unresponsive in his cell at 6:30 in the morning. Well, tonight, what security cameras show the guards were doing in the hours before he died. Here's ABC's Eva Pilgrim.
Tonight, the 2 guards on duty the night Jeffrey Epstein died by suicide facing criminal charges. Tova Noel and Michael Thomas are accused repeatedly of failing to conduct 30-minute inmate checks and of falsifying jail records to make it look like they had. Thomas allegedly telling a supervisor, "We messed up. We didn't do any rounds." Prosecutors say video surveillance shows the guards sat at their desks and appeared to have been asleep, at times browsing the internet for furniture and motorcycles. Epstein had just been removed from suicide watch but was left for 8 hours before he was found with a noose around his neck. Those guards have pleaded not guilty, their union blaming staff shortages. Today, the director of the Bureau of Prisons grilled by senators about Epstein's death.
Do you concur with the opinion that it was a suicide?
That was the finding of the coroner, sir.
Okay. Do you have any evidence suggest otherwise?
I do not.
The pathologist hired by Epstein's family to investigate has said that the evidence points to homicide. Federal prosecutors say that security footage shows no one entered the area where Epstein was housed that night.
So let's get to Eva Pilgrim with us tonight live. And Eva, you mentioned there the surveillance. Epstein was obviously a high-profile inmate. The authorities knew this at the time. And yet at the time of his death, a lot of people were asking, why wasn't there surveillance on his actual cell, a camera there?
Well, cameras cover the hallways of the jail here, David. The only time that Epstein would have been monitored by cameras around the clock was while he was on suicide watch. David?
Eva Pilgrim with us tonight. Eva, thank you. Next this evening, there are now arrests in the death of an 18-year-old fraternity pledge in Ohio University last year. Tonight, 9 people are now facing charges related to alleged hazing at an off-campus house. Here's Gio Benitez.
Tonight, 9 men, most of them fraternity members, are facing serious charges following the 2018 death of Ohio University freshman pledge Colin Wyant. One of them charged with reckless homicide, another involuntary manslaughter. Many of the other charges range from drug trafficking to hazing. Wyant was found unconscious last November at an off-campus house associated with the Sigma Pi fraternity.
Hello, I think my friend drank a little too much.
Okay, is he responsive?
He was, and then he's kind of laid back, started passing out.
In a wrongful death lawsuit, the Wyant family alleges Colin was subjected to extensive hazing that included being beaten with a belt and being provided with and forced to take drugs that included nitrous oxide, which a coroner ruled ultimately killed him. The fraternity reportedly denies responsibility for the alleged hazing death. Tonight, Wyant's parents reacting to those criminal charges.
It was necessary because it's the only way we're going to drive change to save lives, but also that there are no winners here.
His death is systemic of this larger scale problem.
And David, at least one of the men charged will be arraigned tomorrow. Meanwhile, the Sigma Pi fraternity has been expelled from Ohio University, and other fraternities on that same campus are also under investigation for separate hazing allegations. David. All
right, Gio Benitez reporting. Gio, thank you. And at Syracuse University, police tonight are investigating a series of hate crimes on campus. Students there have reported shouted slurs, vandalism, and graffiti targeting Jews, Asians, and black students in recent weeks. One fraternity has been suspended, and social events at all of the others have now been canceled during the investigation. A student sit-in now enters day 6. And in Georgia tonight, a 16-year-old is under arrest, accused of plotting to kill worshipers at a mostly black church. Police say the unnamed teenager targeted the Bethel African Methodist Episcopal Church in Gainesville, Georgia. High school classmates told administrators she had a notebook that detailed her plans, and then those school administrators alerted police. Next tonight, hear the new report about the midair tragedy aboard a Southwest flight. Engine parts tearing through the cabin, a woman partially sucked out of the window. We reported on this at the time. Well, federal safety officials are now recommending Boeing redesign thousands of jet engines on planes in the air. ABC's David Curley covers aviation.
It happened in an instant.
Everybody breathe. We are almost there.
Southwest 1380 just had an engine blow apart. Tammy Jo Schultz was the 737 captain.
It was rather rapid.